Coming up in this Brightline construction update. This update looks at the Turkey Creek cut and throw. Turkey Creek is located in Palm Bay, Florida. For the past year or so, trains have been running through a temporary alignment on the north side of the bridge, shifting from the eastern main line to the new western main line in order to cross the west side of the new Turkey Creek Bridge while the new east side was being built. From the bridge south, trains continued on the new west main all the way to CP Malabar, where they could access new double track that was already in service. The goal for this day was to get trains back on the eastern main all the way through here now that the bridge work was complete, so the western main line could be completed. Within an hour of starting for the day, they had already cut the track and shifted it over by the time I arrived. In the distance here, past Hesse Avenue, another crew is beginning the process to remove the old number 20 turnout that had provided access to the Palm Bay siding, which would now become part of the western main. I'll show that in my next video. The two sticks of rail sitting next to the tracks here with the blue markings are insulated joints that a third crew was preparing to install next to the new intermediate signals here. The insulated joints for the new west main were built into the track as it was being constructed. Coming back a little while later, and crews were preparing to make the joints to connect the eastern main line where the cut had been made. And here, the insulated joint crew was removing one of the pieces of the old rail. The joint crew was beginning to cut the rail lengths to size. A little while later, a signal crew was beginning to wire up the signal system to the new tracks. With the joint complete by this time, crews had dumped stockpiled ballast on the track, and an excavator was spreading it out in advance of the surfacing crew arriving. Back at the insulated joints, crews were preparing to make the joint on the western rail. These rails would be welded into place in the following weeks as part of the de-stressing process. The excavator was also beginning to make some final adjustments to the alignment of the eastern main prior to the arrival of work train AFW-1. While trying to get it as close as possible here, they only need to get it within a couple of inches before the surfacing crew would finalize it with the tamper. In the railroad contracting world, this project has broke many of the old industry standards for how much work can be done simultaneously without dedicated work windows. To put it in perspective, on other projects around the country, crews plan for months scheduling this work down to the minute and will only do one mainline outage at a time to minimize their risk of delaying trains. On this project, multiple outages have been done practically every single weekend for the past 3 years, with minimal delays caused to the FEC. These crews deserve congratulations for making this happen so successfully. I left at this point to check on the turnout removal work, but when I came back, surfacing crews were in action. The tamper here was making an initial lift on the track. The regulator was working to spread out the ballast that had been dumped on the track. By this time, the work on the insulated joints was complete. Work train AFW-1 was staged south of the bridge, ready to come in to dump the majority of the ballast needed when called. I left to cover the turnout removal for the rest of the day, but here's AFW-1 passing through here the following afternoon. AFW1 runs with locomotives on both ends, since due to the nature of construction, they don't often have an easy way, if a way at all, to run a locomotive around the train to change directions. Only one locomotive is running at a time in this configuration. The 507 is one of FEC's few remaining GP30-2s. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also check out my social media pages.